What's going on? This is Ohio's Finest Outdoors, Bass Curtis, and we are back at it here in the Bass Cave. I got a special guest today, my man Bart Devolld. How you doing, Bart?
I'm all right, Curtis. How are you?
I'm great. I like that hat you got. OFO.
Yeah, I'm representing. Yeah.
Ohio's Finest Outdoors. I like it. So, what we are going to talk about today is a couple different trips that we have been on, and one in particular that comes to mind is a back-to-back giant bass that you caught on a trip last year. It's something that you have never done before. It's something that, man, I can't even explain it. You were super ecstatic when that happened. Talk about that day.
I'm definitely excited. It was a day that I'll probably never forget. It was a bright, sunny day, and we had decided that we were going to go to a certain area, and we went down, and I think those two fish were caught on back-to-back cast, if I remember right. And two of the biggest fish that I have ever caught. But the experience just to be able to do that was quite exciting.
I remember the video footage, and you were super pumped. You were geeked up. You were like,
oh yeah,
yeah. And I'm like, man, that right there is why I do what I do. I love taking people fishing and putting them on their personal best for that reason, to see that excitement.
Well, to catch two of that caliber back to back was, I think, had me pretty pumped up, because I knew once the one fish hit, I thought I'll throw back into the same spot and maybe I'll get fortunate enough to catch another one, and I did. So I really thought that was the thing.
And for you guys who don't know Bart, we fished a lot over the last 2 years, and let me tell you, it's one of the most stubborn fishermen that I've ever taken out. I can tell him, hey, I'm catching these giant bass on this bait. I look over and I'm like, Bart, what are you throwing? He's like, well, I thought I would try this. I stopped up at Van's Outdoors, and I thought I saw this on YouTube, and they were catching giant bass. And I always tell him, Bart, I don't care what you see on YouTube. A lot of those lakes are not here in Ohio, and they're fishing those big lakes, warmer water, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Bart sees it, and it works on YouTube.
Bart thinks he has to have it.
Bart thinks he has to have it, and he is buying it. So talk about that day, because we go back and forth and we battle when it comes to baits. And I say, Bart, take that bait off and put this on.
Well,
what did you catch those on?
A jig, black and blue metal flake jig, 1/4 ounce, with a frog trailer, I do believe. But the one thing that comes to mind is the one time we had gone, and Solomon was telling me, come on down to this area, and we're in float tubes, and I'm like, I'm going to stay up here, and I stayed up in the upper part of the...
And more specific, I said, Bart, I got the feeling, man, there's these boulders in the back. Please go, Bart, just go back there. I don't want to go back there. Go back there and just give it at least an hour.
Well, and Bart didn't do it. So, on about the time we were ready to leave, I hear him hollering, I'm coming. Well, I'm thinking, what's taking him so long? Well, here comes Solomon around the corner, wore out, hey, my arm's tired, and he holds up an 8-pounder. See, I told you. I said, well, I don't know. I didn't do it.
And yeah, I'm not going to repeat what you said when I first held that fish up, but I had that fish, remember, it was cold, and I had my arm clear down in the water, paddling all the way back. And yeah, that video will be coming out soon, Hogzilla 3. And the video that I had on GoPro, you can catch that on Ohio's Finest Outdoor, where he catches back-to-back giant bass. But I remember like it happened yesterday, because you had that white rod, and it was a favorite rod, and it was buckled over. And I said, what? And I saw the boil. And I said, oh my goodness, Bart.
You asked me, is that a good one?
Is that a good one?
Yeah,
Is that
that's a good one. Yeah.
And I said, please take your time. Because you were just horsing it. You was like,
right. I'm going to get it in.
He's horsing it. And I'm like, no. And I see the boil. And I said, oh my goodness, Bart, take your time. And he was like, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
A good one.
And I went a little out there and got it. And you were like, Dad, go. Oh, whoa. But
yes, I was super excited. That was quite.
And that's why
never forget it.
The rest of your life you will remember that. And then I'll say, Bart, one of my tricks is if I catch a big fish, I automatically retie because that knot and that string is cut it, retie. I said retie, Bart. And I'm not kidding you. He throws it back out, same area, it's dropping,
and bang,
bang, another big one.
Yeah, and I'm lucky I got that one in probably because I didn't retie.
And I'm like, man, my goodness, back to back. So we've had a lot. We had a lot of good memories.
Oh yeah, a bunch.
This year, remember we're in the boat and I set the hook, and I very rarely do I break off.
Yep. Well, that was it. You ought to heard it that day. He really let it go.
Yeah, I wanted to throw a $600 combination into the lake.
I was waiting on that.
I was ready to break it in my frustration, but then you told me, hey, just keep fishing. You might get another shot at it. We leave that lake. We go to another lake.
And, you got...
Remember? I missed it. I had a hit. I jerked and I missed. And I flipped it right back in there.
And got that. Yeah, that was another good
boom!
One. Yeah.
I don't know. Bart's a good man, but one thing I know is he's an avid fisherman, and he don't like to listen. He likes to catch big ones, and I said you can catch a lot more if you
learn to listen.
But I love because he's going to try what he wants to try. It doesn't matter. I recommend something. He's like, I get to that. We were on a lake, and I think you caught 6 bass in a row. I said, put this green pumpkin tube on. You did? Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Then we go like 15 minutes, and he doesn't catch one, and I continue catching them. I said, Bart, what are you doing? I look over.
Want to throw a tube that day.
He done changed his tube to a rubber worm. I said, man, take that off. So, Bart, if you had to tell the audience out there, how long you been fishing? We ain't gonna tell your age. We're just gonna ask how long you been fishing.
A long time.
And last year you've been fishing all them years.
Oh, last year was the best year of my life.
And you caught that back to back personal best bass.
2 back to back personal bests that were, you wait. Some people wait their entire lifetime to be able to do that, and not everyone's as fortunate or capable of doing it. But I was fortunate enough and capable to do it, and I look forward to doing it again.
That's what I like to hear. So if you had to tell the viewers 3 baits, if you had 3 baits that you could put in your tackle box, and that's all you could use for a year, what 3 baits would it be for Bart Devolld?
Now, what 3 baits? It would be a jig, 1/4 ounce jig, a tube, either green or purple, and a crawl.
Creature, yep. Now, he's saying that now. So next year, when we're fishing, or even later this year, because after bow season, I'm getting back on the water. Is there any other experiences throughout life from fishing that you could remember that you just say, man, I'll never forget this fishing experience?
Well, I think as a young person, I started fishing and I got into really liking the ability and the calmness that it brings to a person. You can be out there and not catch a fish, but you're out there in some beautiful territory, beautiful country, and you don't have to, I guess, basically worry about things that really don't make a difference. If I had the opportunity, I'm definitely going to try and introduce a younger person to fishing.
That's what it's all about.
It's quite the experience.
I tell people all the time, across the state and other states, fishing is more than just catching bass. Man, it's that peace of mind.
You're right, right.
It is.
You're right.
It's, and I tell people, and I will continue to tell them, it is a coping skill for me. I can go out there, and you mentioned it, just being out there in Mother Nature, the peace and serenity. It's beautiful. It is beautiful out there. And people say, you don't have to catch a bass? And they think because I've caught all these giant bass that I need to do that every time. I cannot catch a fish
and still enjoy it.
And still enjoy it.
Enjoy it and be calm and in the serenity of it and everything. Yeah, I get it. I understand.
And the other thing you mentioned is you want to introduce more kids. Well, you know my goal, and there's big plans coming for Bass Curtis by 2024. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but there's big plans coming 2024. But it definitely has to do with introducing more kids to the outdoors. And you hit the nail on the head. Man,
I think the ability and the experience to do that will help a young person understand what the outdoors is all about, and helps them to, I think, like you said, the serenity and the calmness of it. If they can get to that aspect of it and understand it, then they'll be more inclined to do outdoor activities and not be so tied up into things that will affect their life in a more negative manner, let's say.
Absolutely. And I'm going to continue to challenge all the viewers out there. Continue getting kids in the outdoors, whether it's fishing, whether it's hunting, whether it's trapping. Get kids in the outdoors. There's nothing like being out there.
Right.
Nothing like it. So Bart, other than bass, because I used to fish for everything, and then once I got a certain age, it just became strictly bass. You met me and figured out very quickly, this dude's about business when it comes to bass. But that wasn't always the case. I used to catch smallmouth, saugeye, and walleye. I used to chase all of them, but now it's bass. Besides bass, what do you chase after?
Oh, I've had the opportunity to get into muskie fishing, which is actually the very first fish I caught was a muskie. I was probably 9, 10 years old, and that's what hooked me on fishing in general, was the ability to catch a fish that was, at that time, was pretty good sized fish. But I went from muskie fishing to bass fishing, because I thought bass fishing was a little more, I wouldn't say competitive, but it takes a little more finesse to catch a larger size bass than it does a muskie.
I honestly don't know anything about muskie fishing. I've never caught one. I know my guy's going to see this. Jake Corngable is supposed to put me on. It don't even got to be a giant muskie, just a muskie. So Jake, in 2024, we have to make that happen. One thing, another funny story. There's two funny stories before we go. I gotta tell you about Bart. Before Bart met me, I think he had one, maybe two bass rods.
Oh boy!
Before he met me, one or two bass rods. He saw my collection and my bait shop, and
now we have what?
Nah, we're not going to say that in case his wife sees this.
She knows. She has seen them all. Come back from the sporting goods store. You didn't buy another rod.
One or two up to 15. So he's catching on. And the other thing that we joke about all the time is when I was doing the video for Ohio's Finest Outdoors, when he landed those giants. And I was doing the introduction. I was right here sitting. And my man, Logan, 33 Oak Productions, was behind the camera. Shout out to him. I said, in this video, you're going to see this elderly gentleman.
Yeah.
I was being respectful. I could have said you're going to see this old man catch his personal best, but I said elderly gentleman. So now every time we're around, he goes back to that. Yeah,
yes,
remember
I do.
Called me that elderly gentleman.
Yeah. Well, I guess the truth hurts.
Huh?
I guess the truth
Hey,
hurts.
the elderly gentleman put it on Bass Curtis that day.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But that is my goal when I take people fishing, honestly. Like just like I said, go back there, and you didn't, and you said you go back there, and that happened.
And you did, and you ended
so
up
I said, hey, go right here, Rob. Go right here. Again, it's been a while since I've been back in front of the camera. A lot has taken place. Honestly, I'm doing a lot of different things right now, and it still pertains to the outdoors, but I wasn't in front of the camera a lot. I didn't fish as much this year, and now I'm in the tree. Hopefully I close that chapter very soon. And I do have a lot of footage that Logan is going to get, and it will be coming out soon. And I'm telling you right now, there are some hogs that were caught, and I just haven't had the time to get with Logan. We're both busy, responsibilities, kids, all that good stuff. But I'm telling you, we have tons of footage that will be coming back out along with these videos here in the Bass Cave. Bart, I greatly appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking the time out.
Okay, thanks.
Come down here. I love the hat.
Thank you.